Good evening, darlings, and welcome to episode 31 of Greenwood Talks. Now, before we get started on our actual request for today, I did want to make some sort of announcements because some of you may have noticed that my videos just sort of stopped. This is because, unfortunately, my 11-year-old laptop finally died. Well, the hard drive is irreparable. So, since that happened, I have been without a working computer, and for some reason, the cellular applications that they make just don't sort of cut it. They don't function very well at all. I've had a lot of problems with what's it called, crashing, where the application just sort of cuts off and sometimes doesn't open back up. So I've downloaded the new YouTube application, which seems to have helped a little bit. I'm still having some problems with that. For instance, for those of you who have sent comments and things like that, if it's more than about 2 lines, I don't get to read what the rest of the message is. And so that's really disturbing and unfortunate. In addition, a lot of you have sent sort of videos where you want a reaction or have a very long message, and unfortunately, because I have to handwrite anything and I don't have, I can't be watching something and recording at the same time, unfortunately, it means those requests are going to have to be pushed back even further, which I feel absolutely dreadful about, darlings. Please forgive me for that. But hopefully, things will start to get better. I've been rather busy and I don't know when that's going to stop with my work, of course. But hopefully soon I'll have a chance to purchase a new computer so that we can get back to all the usual, which I've been missing so much. So without further ado, let's get on to the actual Greenwood talk. Cheers. So tonight I got a message from Tumblr user UltraFanGortis, who says, "Funny story, I pretended to have sex with a tree in my friend's backyard because she was feeling down and it made her laugh. Do you think that was a good way to solve the problem?" It's certainly an unusual way to solve the problem, darling. I have to say, though, to your credit, humor is an absolutely wonderful method of cheering people up, and I think we really should concentrate a little more on those sorts of methods first, because they really can sort of break up, particularly if it's a depression or something of that nature your friend is going through. I think these things do help to sort of keep that dreary monotony away, and even if it's not sort of going to cure a greater sadness, it does sometimes jar you out of that sort of habit that I think a lot of people have when they do go through a moment of being down or long-term depression, which is that you just sort of cycle through dark thoughts. So humor is a good way to sort of break through that. So good on you, darling, for thinking of that. I will say, I don't know that I would have sort of gone with the intimacy with the tree first off. Of course, perhaps you didn't, but it does seem to have worked, so you do have that going for you. And I think as far as if it was a good way to solve the problem, I think that's really something that's sort of in the eye of the beholder. If it worked, if it had the result that you desired, and it has no ill effect on you, well then I would count that as working just fine. If you had a problem with sort of your self-image with this friend, then I maybe would have a concern, or if you had sort of a public image you're trying to maintain, where if this was to sort of get out, it might damage that, or if you were afraid that as a result of this, that it might perhaps hurt your other people's views of you, then I might be a little bit more concerned. But it sounds like that's not a problem for you, and so I'd say if it's not hurting anyone, it's not hurting you, it's benefiting your friend, clearly, then then I would say it's a decent way. You know, perhaps sort of broaden your repertoire for next time. And you didn't actually engage in intercourse with the tree, so that much is reassuring at least. So so I think you came up with a fairly decent solution, darling, and cheers to you. Until next time, darlings, I do hope that this video will load up on time and not take a week through the pending process like the last video did, but fingers crossed it will all work out, knock on wood. And I can't wait to see you all again, darlings. Please don't stop sending your requests. I will get along to them as I can. So thank you all. Cheers and ta-ta.